Let's get this done. I like on Lichess for several reasons. My focus is over the board. So no online platforms really matter compared to over the board in terms of assessing a player's strength. Chess.com is the benchmark for online chess. So if my rating slips, I lose sleep over it. Playing on Lichess lets me try new things, not worry, have fun, and save my serious focus play for over the board. And my favorite thing about Lichess, I expect almost no one cheats, if anyone, because, like I said, chess.com is the online benchmark. So people aren't promoting their Lichess rating. It's FIDE rating, if you don't have that, which I do. It's local rating, USCF, Canada, etc. Then it's online chess. But after the FIDE and the local rating, it's a big drop-off, almost like a who cares type drop-off to online chess for serious players, even amateurs. Now, the local rating seems to be equally valuable unless you go outside of your area. So in America, yeah, they might prefer to know my FIDE rating, especially if a professional player was asking. But if I just said my USCF rating, they wouldn't even ask, oh, do you have a FIDE rating? No, it's fine. There are ways, in my opinion, especially until about my level online, to win and play like dog shit. Tyler 1 would be the best example of that. He doesn't know how to play chess. All he's proven to me with his bullshit cow opening is he's pretty intelligent, meaning he's picking apart obvious weaknesses, mainly pawn weaknesses, by another not very good player. So he's smarter than them. It forces the opponent to make decisions, then he picks it apart. That doesn't mean you know how to play chess. He would get tore up by a 1300 over the board who's taken some lessons with a grandmaster. Tore up, tore to pieces. A good 1300, and there are different ways to be good, especially at the lower levels, but I'm talking a skilled, knowledgeable 1300 that just emotionally, maybe age is a factor, hasn't figured out how to compete. That 1300 who just knows how to play chess a little bit would do to Tyler 1 what Tyler 1 thinks he would do to grandmasters, which is slaughter him. Now, I think Tyler 1 could figure it out if he played over the board. Still, his online rating is very good. I personally have just played online, taken some lectures, mostly group lectures at the St. Louis Chess Club for their, what do they call it, action tactics, which is a very good program taught by a professional player, sometimes a grandmaster. But overall, I've assessed my games alone, taken 2 private lessons just to see how professional players think about game analysis. Then I put my own spin on it. And to look back on my chess.com games when I was learning from late 2020 till now, it would be fascinating because you would notice I make the same mistakes. And I haven't done this. The only games I've looked at from a long time ago are if maybe a viewer brought it up in a comment or one of the athletes, his name's Peter, who joined one of my streams, we actually played each other. So he talked about that game and I went back and found it. But I haven't actually taken a day to go and look at my old games online when I had no training. But I'm positive I would be making the same mistakes. He did that and he did that, but he did that well. And eventually I got to the level where those mistakes were punished and punished bad enough to where I didn't win games anymore. And then I had to figure it out. Then it would be another mistake, maybe not as easy to notice, but the same types of mistakes. and over the board, I would have got humiliated consistently, even by lower rated players. But online, maybe due to distraction, maybe an athlete's taking a break, but the rating's still high. I don't know. It took a lot longer for similar mistakes to be glaring weaknesses. So we're going to get my Lichess to 2,000 all-time controls. My bullet is, and I'm using it mostly for training purposes. Feeling pretty good. My dog is getting her attention, and I will be returning to over-the-board chess this month. My rating is 1539 USCF, 1489, I believe, FIDE. And now I do think it's going to require a lot more quality versus quantity. Okay, so you can't do that now. Little things like that really do matter because that's a VIP, which is a very important pawn. You can't just give that away. And since I'm in my king, which is not the best move, like I said, do stuff until they punish you for it. But those are the little things that will matter a good amount. That would even be fun to do that. Speed chess, at least. Okay, so I can go here. Or, no, I go there. I could do that too. Because here doesn't work. Your best move might be that, actually. But then I'll go there. Yeah, it's something to think about. I'm just winning. Idiot. There than there. Though I don't love it. Okay. Well, that scares me. One, two. That's a bad move. Maybe not. The queen's trade, that's super safe. See, now it's great. Because here's not scary. Okay, it's slightly annoying, but it's still fine. I don't know if I want to go there or there. See, because these pawns are fabulous. It's really good pawns. And now I'm going to defend it that way. See, and that pawn suddenly becomes a minor weakness. It's your bishop. And then once those rooks are over there, my bishop's going to go here. I need to move your rook first. It's a good move there. Good rook lift. It's not a rook lift anymore. It is a rook lift. That's a bad move. Let's see how it could be very good. There's no mate. Oh, shit. Sloppy. But a victory nonetheless. And I played so much online chess since the pandemic that even though all the things I mentioned about Lichess not mattering is true, I still just get not really sad or even nervous, but just worked up over one game. Got to relax. I'm less stressed during over the board games, even against opponents I should beat. It got so bad that I couldn't even drive to the gas station or to the chess club for over the board tournaments without stopping to do a puzzle or play a game on chess.com. I'm not criticizing their platform because it's more my nature. Though the better chess players, I assume, are like me. They just started earlier. But it was so ruining my life. Could enjoy anything. But damn it, I'm 2,000 mile time controls on chess.com and not struggling much. I just don't want to risk it. Because who cares? Until I get to like 2,200, where I'm a legitimate threat to professional streamers. The difference in even 2001, which I'm 2019 on chess.com, 2001 and 2,200, who cares? And that will take some work because I'm not a 2,200 level online player yet. So fuck it. I'm just going to enjoy the rest of my year, maybe not play on chess.com anymore because I didn't know that not renewing my membership would cause me to get advertisements. I thought I just didn't get the game reviews, the robot stuff. Apparently I get ads too, and I'm not doing that. It's ridiculous. I'll play on Lichess. That will also constitute my climb of Chess Mountain as I promoted. Similar rating system, meaning a 2,000 on Lichess is probably about a 2,000 on chess.com. And I'll work over the board. Then maybe to kick off the new year in 2026, which is obviously a ways away, I will come back to chess.com. The ratings will have loosened up, meaning a win will get me more and a loss will lose me more because I've not been on the platform for a while. And I'll be so much better by then that I might just shoot up 2,100 in a day. No hard feelings, chess.com. Because all my games were on there. I didn't know anything about chess, never played as a kid. But I downloaded chess.com like many did during COVID. Difference is I'm a fucking psychopath. I mean that in a complimentary way toward myself. Most important buildings, most innovations, technology. It's because psychopaths exist. I don't view those types of psychopaths, which I am, again, complimenting them, much different than dangerous criminals. It's just life led them to use their brains for a different, better thing. And most of that is guided by our upbringing. I have good parents. I think my dad's dad drank a little bit. I never knew him. Possibly some addictive personalities on my mom's side. My granny was adopted. So I stayed away. Otherwise, I'm in prison for sure. Just like I believe some of the best chess players in the world would have been had they not played chess or not found something else to use their amazing, powerful brains on. And also why, in my commitment to prove talent is not near as important as opportunity, if I would be allowed, I'll walk into the most dangerous prisons. I know they wouldn't let me, but I don't give a shit if there's a guard with me or not. Take the fucking handcuffs off. Most people, even unless there's major drugs involved, even dangerous criminals, they're not going to do shit if you show them respect. Take the handcuffs off. I don't care. Well, I mean, I do care. Don't kill people. You killed someone. I'd rather you not have hurt a child in any way or a woman. Let's say you killed 3 guys. That's fine. Just play some chess and talk about it. Turn you into a fucking prodigy. You're already a prodigy. I'll just bring it out of you. Wait, whoa. Dayton's going to turn prisoners into chess masters only if they're highly autistic and in their early 20s. Ideally with a foundation in chess. Yeah, I'll turn them into chess masters. Corporate America, we can't find the talent. Only certain people from certain countries can do this job. Hey, you know that guy that was in the news for murder and had previous offenses for domestic abuse, drug violations as a kid? You know him? The guy that was going nowhere? Yeah, he's a fucking 2200 rated chess athlete. That's a master, right? That's really good. Yeah, it turns out he had potential. But no one was nice to him, so he never learned right from wrong. Boy, that would piss some powerful people off, wouldn't it? I'll end up like Bobby. Isolated from my friends and chased out by authority. But I'll prove a lot of important points, and someone's got to do it. Let's analyze this chess battle, shall we? When I select black, that means flip the damn board, Decode. Decode's not quite there yet, but it's good enough for my level. Yeah, either or I get it. Blitz, I play pretty conservative moves. See, and that's just winning online games. Speed chess, I want a not very good player, which is relative and there's levels to chess, but in my opinion, this is still not a very good athlete, even though Tyler One got fucking videos made about him by Gotham Chess. Mr. Gotham, I'll remember that forever. But that's just one thing you got to think about. You need to defend that pawn now, which is why the bishop could come there. Something's got to happen. Retreat, bishop move. Something's got to happen. Even here would be fine. But now, this check, if any beginners are watching my stream or the rerun of this, previously when my king was there, you had this check. So you had that pawn double covered. Shit, Decode. Trying to help out the little guy. And what do I get? Get clicks when I didn't mean to. Lesser quality of life. Isn't that the way of the world? Support small business. Support small business. If you do it, I will. Yeah, and you'll be the only one. I don't have my cush corporate life or benefits anymore. Okay, so as I was mentioning, now I can't take that pawn with my horsey, even though I have 2 to your 1, because that check will reveal your queen. I'll lose my queen, I'll lose chess battle. Can't do that. That's why I made that move. Not a good move. Over the board, especially with time, I wouldn't make that move. But you got to think. Some people online, they just don't think. Developing bad habits by winning developing bad habits but winning online chess battles. Lazy move. Lazy move. But again, I don't get punished for stuff long enough. I'm human. I knew you couldn't do that. I would have figured that one out. See, and I saw all that. But again, with online chess, it's exciting because I anticipate so much better. Like a lot of online chess players, what were you looking at there? They'll say one move ahead or here's the threat. I saw, even in however long it took for me to make those moves, which wasn't long, I saw it to here. And then I knew the queen could go. It doesn't really matter. There's no immediate ways the queen could hurt me. But I saw that from here. As soon as that queen's there. I calculated that. Now, I didn't see the right move immediately. But I would have if the script was flipped. I was playing as white and I had more time. I would have saw that knight move. But I know that doesn't work. Well, apparently you're still quite a bit better. I don't feel like you are. Is that for real? Are you really? Because I have a pawn. So how are you? So yeah, so if that happens, okay, of course I can't take there because of the mate. So I go back, so I go here. Bishop takes. Oh yeah, because the bishop will come, of course. Yes, that's terrible by me. But like I was saying, I just basically played online chess by waiting until I get punished, then learning what I need to learn. That may have developed some bad habits, but I think there'll be some benefits to that as well. Yeah, I developed bad habits, but I also, even when I'm wrong, at least I'm seeing what could happen so much faster and so much better. So you're quite a bit better. What does that mean when it's plus 5.2, but then it's plus 3.25 with Stockfish? What does that mean? So I have to quit that every fucking time? Is this the Stone Age? Toggle the... So here, now I have to click it again. So I don't really know what's happening. 3.93 versus 2.77. But at a human level, I'm not much worse. And like I said, I'm anticipating the right things. Got to get more comfortable with moves like that. I only have one option there. Yeah, I think I made them pretty quick, if I remember right. Yeah, duh. Why would I do that? Okay. Yeah, and that's another move. An example where it works at the lower levels. It makes sense because your bishop is just locked in there. I can't do much about it. But you got to ask yourself, if you're playing a decent player, well, I want that bishop to serve another purpose than just sitting there, basically making my king safer in a way. Like your bishop is kind of blocking your rooks from ever getting into my territory, and your bishop's no longer defending that pawn, so your rook is limited. So now you basically got yeah, sure. So you got your bishop in here, great. Who gives a shit? Because now you've let your rook in to protecting that. You got to figure out a way to fix that issue. But you're probably planning on doing more reasonable to do that than use that pawn with your bishop and just give that pawn away if you have to. Because now you're basically playing with one rook, and I have really good pawns. And I'm not going to let you break them up. Yeah, both are good. I'm quick. Yeah, getting a little too distant. Saw that rook lift. If it's still called a rook lift, I mean, it's technically still lifting a rook, so why not? A little bit late, and I'm wanting to get there immediately. You help me with that rook move. That's a terrible move. I don't really know why that would be any good. I would take, well, I guess because that pawn's serving a lot of purpose, so I would want to use my bishop, then you could take that pawn. That would have been a good move. What happens if you make that move? So that move puts you about even. If you make the correct move, I'm assuming I'm supposed to take it. I have to take it. And then I'm assuming, why does it not update automatically? And you just take on d5 and you're winning. But instead, you just made my life very easy, which I don't understand. Aside from just, some people are born with more talent than others. Okay, didn't have much time to think here. Yeah, I just knew. That would be, I guess it is the best move, but I was thinking. I didn't think that pawn really wanted to move, but I don't have time. Yeah. And that might be better, but another example, they just do stupid stuff. So they're going to do stupid stuff. I'm used to winning. I'm used to winning, playing my way. And now that's terrible. Terrible. But I've tortured you enough and proven my superiority to the point where you don't have any time to punish my mistake. So, good game. All right, how fun was that? What are we at now? 1980. What am I at? 1982. Let's freeze. I got the white pieces. Let's freeze. Yeah. Damn it. Should stuff that was ahead, but I don't want more board games. Yeah, I could. It's pretty lazy. Okay, there's no risk. Oh, shit. The rook move. I'm looking at the wrong shit. So now I'm not in good shape. I can fix it, though, because if you go there, then I go there, then you have to use a move to defend your knight. It has no target, so I'll have time to move. I prefer to be there. That's fine. It's totally fine. No. Took too long to think there. That's the speed we need. I think that's my only move. And suddenly I'm crammed. Shit! bitch. Only move, right? Well, that was a bad mistake. And there's my hope. Um, so now your bishop is basically stuck there. I see pawns, right? Oh shit. Damn it. Now that's where chess.com, I'm winning that. Even though I got way too lucky. Okay. Is there a way I can copy it without all this extra stuff? That's all right. Slow down. Let's take our luck. What does that X mean? Does that mean I'm doomed? I don't feel doomed. That's fast. That's fine. Moving way too fast. Enabling that pawn push, okay. have to go backwards. But if here, then there, and then I'll make you go there. It might. Let's just see what. No, that's just, don't be lazy. Don't be lazy, goddammit. It doesn't look good. I don't see a problem with it, but I don't like it either. I don't want to be like the chess mafia. Hans Niemann looks weird. He's suspicious. What'd he do? We need evidence. I don't have evidence. That I see right now. That move is bad by black, but it doesn't look good either. Trust our gut within reason. Trust our gut when it doesn't ruin lives. Hashtag free Hans. And yes, in the virtual age, that is how you ruin a life. He's not overreacting. He's underreacting. Shitheads. But I don't understand the problem. How annoying. Okay, so you got 1. Let's focus on this pawn then. 2, 3. I'll have 1, 2, 3. That would even be a fine square for my knight. If you want to start committing some pawns. You're moving so fast. There's no way you're calculating anything. Loser. And then if it takes, I get that pawn. So what I'm calculating is there, then there, then there. Well, no, you would just stay there, right? But then I would still have that. And if your queen takes, I take there. But it comes with check. I can't do that. Now I can, if everything stays the same. Yeah. These pawns are fabulous, though. And this is where chess can get more complicated. There's a lot happening. I'm down 1. But there are things in my position if I play it well, mainly my control center with my pawns, that I would almost prefer white in spite of being down a pawn. That's a good move I didn't consider. So here, and you're still in that predicament. Well, I guess you're not, are you? It's a good move. Yeah, because you know I want that. Okay. So here, and then you go there. Asshole. It's got to go all the way back. Another example of where chess can get more complicated. My bishops are way back. My minor pieces appear passive. But there's nothing really bad about my position. So here, would I allow that to be taken in order to get that? And I don't know the answer. Let's say that's a lot better. So your bishop is just kind of useless, though. And if your pawn is here, you don't really, it doesn't matter that you open that up. Then you would have to guard against that immediately. It's not going to be hard for you to guard against that. Something like here, then I can get in there, and that's annoying as shit. That's probably a better move. But takes, and then there, and then bishop is probably what I'm going to play. If that falls, you know what? Fuck it. Start weakening your king. Let's just do what we were going to do. Yeah. So you got to use your knight, which means I'm here, then I'm automatically there. Huh? It's a bad move, right? I don't understand. You call me the tactician? Every day I work hard to prove I deserve that title. For it is my title. I am the tactician. So that's a bad move. It's here, sure. But now I can use my queen and then flip my rook to defend that pawn, and I might. That might have. Okay. Probably going to play something like that. Pretty much no matter what, yeah. Gets hit with that. I have no issue moving my king there. It'd probably be safer. So don't you have to play there? You little bitch. I'm going to go pee. I don't have to pee, but I'm going to freak out. Again, I didn't grow up playing chess, but it is an art, just as most sports are, especially to their respective audiences. And you don't resign when you're not completely lost. Now, that can be taken too far, such as corporate America during a Dr. Perdella Way COVID lockdown. I never should have had to defend myself. H-1B abuse is illegal. That was my alternative to harass my mother, you piece of shit. And that's too far. But don't just resign. Coward. But on a happier note, this does give you a chance to admire future of world chess and American sensation, pride of America, Hans England. I'm positive. Big dub for Hans. He's a winner even when he loses or is getting defamed. Because despite of what they say about his character, I might not want him to be my friend. I don't know him. He is a winner. He's a beacon of kindness and truth at a time when the world so desperately needs it. Just look at that. All in on Hans Niemann. When I'm streaming, especially, I might be viewed as sarcastic. I mean, I'm trying to be dramatic for social media, but I believe everything I say, especially when it comes to Hans Niemann. If I won the lottery, I'd give it all to him if he needed it. If it could help his chess chances, becoming world champion. And unless he is like beating women, which is of course, actually one thought on that. I need to stop using that as an example, but I do say like domestic abuse as an atrocity when comparing it to minor offenses like he might have cheated. Unless he's beating women or committing a crime that is very, very severe, how many of the greatest inventors, greatest athletes were super stable people, especially when it comes to chess? If Bobby Fischer would have been normal, he never would have got a chance to play the Russians, let alone beat them alone when they were at their peak. Normal people, normal, stable people. I have to be married by age 23, and I'll have a college degree from this university. My career will be here. I'll have this many promotions. They don't go fuck up the Russian machine at its peak alone like Bobby Fischer did. Maniacs do that. I don't know if Hans Niemann is necessarily overly emotional or unstable. I think that's a ridiculous situation to put a 19-year-old kid in as he's entering manhood. I don't know what chess people go through when they're traveling for chess. I don't know what they see. I don't know if they're just strictly studying all the time or if they get out to party much. But when you're learning how the world works, you're learning the meanness. You don't need help from people that have no business touching his career. It's fucking too far. That's why there's a fire in his eyes. I like it. But on that topic, though, these are my thoughts. If I ever did get banned for my thoughts, in spite of things I put online about how I treated or how I felt, it was my opinion, H-1B abuse is illegal, how I felt I was treated by corporate America or the corporation during lockdown. Maybe the best takeaway is to say what I think. And if I get hashtag called it out or hashtag me too'd for saying things many people say, volunteering to be Alexander Botez's trophy husband, which I'm mostly joking. I'm not into the influencer persona. If she were equally strong at chess, and she could be better, she chose to stream. If she were equally strong at chess, not all over social media, and I support it, I would promote her content. I think it's very good. I hope all women, as long as they're decent people, do well in business. But I don't find it attractive. I don't find the influencer life attractive, though that's what her talent, that's where she seems to gravitate towards. It's what she's good at. It wouldn't be my first choice for a wife. But if she weren't doing all those things and the dating shows, that's mainly the thing. I'm on a tangent now. If I were to get married, I wouldn't want to look back and see my wife thought this man was attractive, or on this dating show, she chose this guy for these reasons. And, oh, that guy has a trait that is the polar opposite of mine. So if Alexander Botez in this instance chose to let me be her trophy husband, I'd be the best trophy husband ever, by the way. It would be hard for me to look back and see, oh, Magnus Carlsen is attractive. I think he's very attractive. Okay, well, next interview you do with Magnus when we're 40 and having kids. I remember she thought Magnus was attractive. That doesn't mean she loves him or anything, but it's human. But that's the example I go to because I fell in love with her during lockdown. Now I'm in love with all the chess women above 2,000 ladies. He's just, I hate when men don't appreciate women for their talent. There's no better way to appreciate you for your talent than to say, I won't love you if you're less than 2,000 FIDE. I don't know what you want from men. But I should quit joking about that. I don't want to offend the chess women. At least you know where I stand, though. Here are my views on Hans Niemann. I think it's chicken shit. I think it's way past that line of, oh, life's hard. And furthermore, what is his name? Andrew Chess USA. No, it's Andrew. No, it was Christopher Yu. Former American chess grandmaster? Is he just permanently done? Is that what Google popped up? That's crazy. Former American? Or did he transfer to a different country after the scandal? See this. I don't like this at all. Tough but fair. So this man, yeah. So this man was charged with 4th-degree assault at the St. Louis Chess Club's U.S. Chess Championships, right? I think it was that tournament. It was a big tournament, probably the U.S. Chess Championship. Out of frustration, he blew a lead against world number 2 at the time, Fabiano Caruana, which you don't get many chances to beat Fabiano Caruana or a player of that caliber. There are not many that good in history, let alone active. So from a young player's perspective, I get it. There was your shot. I'm sure Caruana didn't play his best or he wouldn't have been losing. You made a mistake. Still were in control to at least draw. Chose to try to win, from my understanding, and then you blew the lead. First of all, when you're beating Fabiano, you may never get another chance in a classical time control game. So let's beat him. Great on your resume. But then to make it more psychologically devastating, you had him beat. You messed up the lead instead of drawing and doing what is necessary to become a player near Fabiano's class, to make that jump from you. Or what is his name? Abhimanyu Mishra? Is that how you say it? I don't want to misspeak. But those young, super good players, to go from there to Caruana, part of that is you're human. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't let a draw turn into a loss. Don't let a win turn into a draw. But if you do not let it go to a loss. And that's what this young prodigy did. And out of frustration, he supposedly made contact with, well, not supposedly. I mean, the cops charged him. I just didn't see it. I don't know that anyone besides the cops did. So he got charged with 4th-degree assault for making contact with a female reporter. As he should have been. He's done. For 1 year in America, right? For a period in America. But internationally, he was not expelled from play. So U.S. Chess charged him. The law handled their side, and the chess said, that's not appropriate. Here's your punishment as far as chess goes. But I don't think FIDE went after him. So he went to an event because he could still play internationally, though not in America. And I think he had a good tournament, possibly in Sardinia. Where was this at? Where was it located? But was said to have been behaving inappropriately with some women while traveling for chess. There was no evidence that time, the second time. But now his ban was extended internationally. I have an issue with that. I don't have an issue, though, which is where I think I'm quite reasonable, and people in chess business would at least respect my views, if not like me, and want to work with me. I don't have a problem with banning him from chess forever because he hit a woman. Forever. He was 17. Especially if he was 18 and he hit a woman, ban him forever. I don't know that I would personally, but I'm saying I would prefer him to have been banned forever the first time than for him to have been punished as a result of a second event where, unlike the first, there is no hard evidence. And not only do I just think that's the right thing to do, that will make chess feel way more welcoming. Hey, here's how we do things. Here's how we punish crimes, like it or dislike it. That's how it works. Think that's extreme? He did that. It's proven. There was his punishment. It's done. Whether that's a year, whether that's a lifetime ban, I don't care that much. I care that it's done. He's going to pay his price, whether that be time, money, jail time, whatever. And if he does something else, just like if a prisoner gets out of prison and acts up again, he or she gets charged for another crime, not the past one. I understand when you look at the facts, it's more likely for someone who has had a drug problem or been violent towards women to do it again. That's true. But still, there are many who do not. And I strongly believe, my cousins both worked in level 5 prisons in Missouri. I strongly believe if a man or woman gets out of prison, even if he or she has to do parole or is on a tighter leash, personality trait, or a perceived threat that it is not actually a threat, should not send them back to prison or have them punished. Only another act should. And that's why I have a huge problem with the hashtag called out, hashtag #MeToo stuff, especially as a 30-year-old man, which maybe not necessarily me, but people who have things in common with me. Mainly, we didn't grow up playing chess. You will need us to grow your game a lot, because we are more like mainstream and can appeal to different social groups far better than even the more charismatic, relatable streamers who grew up playing chess could. Anna Kramlich's story does not get new players fired up. Her personality, her videos might, but her story alone. Okay, your parents are both grandmasters. You played because they played. Next. Stories like mine, or even Tyler One's, would be better for that. And as an adult, it is not worth the risk when there are several chess women older than me, and I'm not saying they're wrong, but have called it out, have proven they are willing to ruin men's lives. Okay, well, what if a young girl wanting to be like their peers, when we're young, men and women, we're more impressionable. I want to fit in. My peers are doing this. Dayton looked at me funny. You risk men, especially my age men, which many play in the tournaments, saying, hey, I'm not saying you're wrong. I respect your confidence, speaking up for what you believe in. It's not worth it. It's not worth the risk of being known as a pedophile or being charged. And just like the Justin Tucker, Baltimore Ravens case, you think I'm being dramatic? He doesn't have a job anymore. That's one of the best kickers ever. I believe the second or third highest paid kicker of all time. And in 2024, he was the highest paid kicker ever until Harrison Butker of the Chiefs, I believe, replaced him. No job. There is no hard evidence. That man, and I'm not saying being religious means you're more trustworthy or kinder, more ethical, but he's a devout Christian. Many people say good things. And he's done. He's done. And the crimes he supposedly committed, which he'll never be charged because there is no evidence, it was when he was on his undrafted free agent contract over a decade ago. And if a man traumatized a woman that bad, it really is a bad look that they didn't speak up until he wasn't getting paid $480,000 a year anymore. He's the highest paid kicker ever. Really, really sad that they're going to discard him, just like the Chiefs punter was discarded for supposedly raping, or I think the word in the lawsuit was gang raping, if I'm not mistaken. Him and his teammates gang raped her. It's one article I read. She was 17. She shouldn't have been at a college party, let alone being around alcohol and drinking it. And just her word. That guy lost the start of his NFL career. And if you weren't one of the best kickers in college football, he would have been done. And probably struggling to get a job elsewhere, a normal career, because of one woman's words. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying women lie too. Women can be nasty too. And we need to have hard evidence before accusing somebody. I reiterate, I have no issue with ruining someone's life if there's evidence, or giving a punishment that is too much. But don't add on to it unless there is another sure instance of bad behavior. That's where I stand. If I ever get banned, or if I ever get labeled as sketchy, kind of like Hans was, that's fine. That's fine. Save each other some time. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the bathroom. My rant kind of defused me from being mad at the opponent for resigning when the opponent was not completely lost. But now I do actually have to pee. To add to my rant, hello, viewer. A lot of the reason I think the way I do is, of course, life experience. It's not just one event, but one of my better friends took his life not too long before COVID, would have been April 2019. I had seen a therapist when I was younger. I was doing pretty well as an adult. Of course, we outgrow most of our issues and even in some cases, mental illness. And that really reminded me. I'd say no one cares. And then during COVID lockdown, in part because his suicide was pretty fresh, and I had to make pretty important career decisions while trapped inside, while being harassed from behind computer screens, with no information. Of course, there was no information on the future during 2020, and still now, in big tech at least, there's a lot of uncertainty. Microsoft just laid off 6,000. Walmart laid off at least 1,500. So hard time to be a young person. So dealing with my friend's suicide, my own personal situation, I just built a house and I realized maybe corporate America, or at least what I was in, wasn't what I wanted to do. So I saw my therapist. I was not having outbursts, while many did during COVID lockdown. And I feel in large part that's because I dealt with a lot of the things that everyone had to deal with as a young adult. I was 25 during COVID lockdown, never coached, handled it, had to sell my house, and that was hard. My ex-girlfriend was a nice person, didn't really get to tell her bye, or her dog, which was my best friend, still is. And maybe that wouldn't have worked out, but it wasn't fair to her or me how everything happened. To my credit, I acknowledge the mental state I was in. My family was stressed. We were losing our childhood dog, or my childhood dog, sorry. A lot of shit happened at once, but I accepted that no one cares, at least not enough to get me out of prison or fix my life if I messed it up with crimes, drugs, addiction. Stayed in the hotel, got a new living arrangement, got healthy, got into chess. I still have no crime to my name. But my point is, I was seeing a therapist. Do I have anger issues? That's a really hard topic. And it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental health in general is a very tricky field. I would say probably not. I would say I probably don't have a genetic mental illness. If I do, it's very manageable, and I had no childhood trauma. I was diagnosed with type 2 bipolar. Before that, if anything, the expectation was high-functioning autism. Took speaking courses. I did a lot of things to try to offset what we know as the negative symptoms. But unlike that Christopher Yu article where he is going to have to go to therapy for anger management, I will never see a therapist again. I was doing the right things. I was doing the things that women who #call it out say, hey, go do that. And all I got as a result was not being coached. My mom harassed, which was my final button. I mean, that's just too far. Even if I were a criminal, just trying to push me to snap so you can say, aha, instead of reading your open door policy. Take it out. I don't care. Capitalism is capitalism. Go run your business, do what's best for your business, but take out all your things about Mental Health Awareness Month. And if one person listens, it can change the trajectory of a person's life. And taking away a young man or woman's team, even if it's a bad team, that's why gangs are so popular amongst young people, especially when they're stressed or parents go through a divorce or lose a friend in a shooting, which that's way beyond the trauma I experienced, but I'm still human. That's when they turn to gangs because they have a team. They took away my team. They broke my tools. They act like they were helping while they forged documents and poked my mother during COVID lockdown. Back in my day, be tough. COVID lockdown was unlike anything ever. So was AI. And so I decided I would never see a therapist again. And I still stand by that. I expect I will never see a therapist again as long as I live. Because I did those things. And it worked out very poorly for me. My own mental health, it's a journey. I think mostly once a man is grown up, it's wise to realize, what some veterans go through, that life sucks so much worse in other parts of the world, and deal with it ideally without medication. But through my mental health journey, my friend's suicide, and giving thousands of Uber rides, doing thousands of table games, hands, I one believe there is a stigma that probably should be into only actions are crimes. So though there is a stigma, though mental illnesses are real, instead of pretending they're not, to just accept that men who have a mental health diagnosis, they are more genetically probably prone to being violent or even dishonest. But that's far from the norm, and most of the times they're not. Start with that. There's stigma. And from there, only actions are crimes. So if someone commits a crime, punish them severely, punish them worse if you have to. Don't tell them in business we're a family. But unless he or she acts up again, you can't just add on a ban like what Fide did to Christopher Yu. Lastly, just like that Yu example, he's on his second chance. I think Hans Niemann is on his first chance. Online chess is not over the board chess. No one gives a fuck, and they're trying to make everyone give a fuck. It's a reach. There's another Netflix documentary. They're trying to reignite the COVID chess boom. It's so obvious. It's so blatant. It's so cruel what they did to Hans Niemann. And then for Magnus Carlsen to still not drop it. It'd be one thing to say, I think he cheated, then I still do, and everyone's like, there's no evidence, there never was, there never will be, what the fuck's wrong with you? But then to go on the Joe Rogan podcast and still push at it. I still think he's suspicious. He's number 20 in the world now. He was up to like 16. He's rated close to 2740. There's even more surveillance on him. There's proctors for probably every online game he plays, and he keeps winning, and he's young, so he's going to get better. And then to still say, not only do I still think he cheated then, but I still am suspicious of him now, is just a disgusting human. And it's nothing I want to be a part of. So he's on his first chance in life just because one person or one entity says so, unless it's the law. He's on a second chance because chess.com said so. Hans Niemann is completely innocent, as am I. Even an anger outburst, unless it turns into assault. You can have anger management issues and still function. If you develop weird routines, find a work environment like I found, which is table games dealing at night. It's not stressful if you're good at, counting and making quick decisions. And I don't really have to interact with people. It sounds weird. I mean, I choose to, but you could deal and just be pleasant, answer questions, smile, convey a positive attitude, and not really have to talk. I just choose to. So in that environment, I would never have any temptations to show frustration. In the corporate world, I might. But my point is, unless I let that feeling turn into something, it could be a stronger feeling of wanting to freak out or commit a crime. But unless I give into it, that is not a problem. And the Hans Niemann investigation was basically exactly what I went through. Google the H-1B visa program. Watch 55-year-old men and women in tears saying they flew someone from Iran into America, sat them at my desk, made me train them, and told me, bye. And if you don't train them, then you don't even get severance. I didn't even get severance. I just tried to surprise me and get me off the books. And unfortunately, where I have a lot of empathy with Christopher Yu in that case and prisoners, even though it might sound extreme to him or his family, hearing, well, he should be banned permanently. I'm not saying he should be. I'm saying I'd rather him be banned permanently by everybody than to go after him a second time for a past mistake and then use some suspicious behavior as your justification. Because if he would have behaved suspiciously at that international event, but not had the 4th degree assault, nothing would have happened to him. So it's a separate thing. I'm not saying it should happen. I don't know the facts exactly. But I just don't like that precedent being set that someone did something or they're suspicious before, so they're going to get in trouble again. And that's the world social media has created. How perfect is life? I'm going to stop after I analyze this chess game. Because I don't want to go on a tangent and waste my evening any more than I already have. Okay. Yeah. And another example where I just haven't been punished, even though this looks intimidating, and it is. These pawns can become very, very good. I haven't been punished enough by athletes at my level online to care that much about breaking them up yet. It's not how I view it anymore because I'm not playing bad players anymore by any means. But still, you see double pawns, and you just assume no matter what, until you're punished enough for it, double pawns are always going to be a weakness. And I just see, I'm going to get rid of your double pawns with that. Now the point is, punish the weakness of these pawns being advanced, which means discoveries could happen. Your rook could become vulnerable, etc. But overall, I've not been given enough reason to be concerned about things like that at the lower levels. Okay, so here, what I think during the game I was even talking about that. So the bishop takes, then my knight. It's going to get annoying if I have to do that every time. Okay, so then d6. Okay, I couldn't figure out why though. I'm not doing this every time. Decode chess. b6. So if there what a bunch of bullshit. Okay, so e5. Bishop takes. Knight d5. Software has a lot of potential. Knight b to d7. So you're just going to give me that? What are you talking about? That's confusing. I don't get it. Yeah, as I said, it looked weird. Didn't look right, but I couldn't figure out exactly the problem. So even if I make the right queen move there, I'm going to end up having to get chess.com again. Or figuring out Stockfish a little better. So if I make the right move after I made that mistake, no. That's why I made it, though. It just allows you to develop some stuff. So the engine analysis doesn't update. That's the only thing that sucks. The tactician is not perfect, apparently. See, why wouldn't you do that, though? So then d6, d8, and you're still targeting. And then queen f2, forcing you to take that rook. Why not there? Oh, because the knight. Good God, Dayton. So then you couldn't take my rook because my knight and my queen would work together. But what if when your queen retreated, it can't? And still defend that. That's sad, I didn't see that. Yeah, what is your thought even? Because you don't need that move as a prerequisite for b4. So you just eliminating your chance to challenge my pawn center. Stupid. That's why I strongly believe I have several friends and even a few family members that come to mind, mainly my cousin Ashton. Give me a little budget, and I will always work or play. More importantly, I want to play chess. On a performance basis, all incentives. All incentives. Let me train people. Yeah. I'll get a slew of people to 2,000 from streamers I don't know. Think, oh, PogChamps is so hard. To people I'm sure are intelligent. A little budget. I'll bring chess to social groups you never dreamed would be interested. Now the downside. Is my approaches, especially when it comes to content, will be so difficult for grandmasters to tolerate that they likely will struggle to watch the broadcast. Okay, and if that happened, I was going to play it here. Then you just go there. So never mind. That was stupid. So pretty easy to fix that. But these little issues that I'm pointing out, I see more than I need to win at this level. I don't know what my peak online rating really is. I've stopped playing on chess.com. I don't want to waste my life anymore. Probably quite a bit higher than it is. But I see most of them. And you don't have to see but maybe 2/3 to 3/4 of the mistakes to play at a good online level. I could absolutely get a bunch of people to do that. One of my friends from Harvard, well, not from Harvard, I met him in high school. He was a freshman when I was a senior. Good dude, smart dude. I think he has, I don't know what type of engineering degree, but he worked at Tesla. He's from my hometown, but went to Harvard. I don't know if he finished up doing track at Harvard, but he did. I'm assuming he got a scholarship. He's smart as shit. I think he got to almost 1,200 on chess.com. And he hasn't really tried. So if I had a way to pay him, or even tell him, like I said, incentives, hey, chess business people, you want to bring it to new social groups, like me, dislike me, think I'm a brand risk, you don't have to claim me at all. If I do this, get them to this rating on chess.com. Here's what me or the person, our lab rat gets. And that would bring them a ton of business. Most importantly, it would prove chess is not a sport reserved for only highly intelligent people and or people who grew up playing, and everybody wins. And I know exactly how I would train them. I know when I would change my plans, even with my cousin Ashton, which I don't know how Ashton did in school, actually. I don't know if he's super book smart. He's very bright when it comes to saving time. He's very likable, well-liked in business by people who have nothing in common with him and people who grew up like we did, playing sports and stuff. But on my streams, I can already hear like a good chess coach saying, well, you misled him there, or you used the improper term, or you made him make this mistake. Almost like you baited him to play the wrong one. Like, that's correct. That's correct, I did. Not in a mean or manipulative way. But with a new player, the reason I'd be a better coach than even a lot of grandmasters, and I don't want to coach. Going back to that hashtag call it out, hashtag me too stuff, you're going to lose a lot more than you gain, ladies. It's not fucking worth it. And if I wanted to get my warm fuzzies, helping young people, coaching in any way, I go volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club. Chess people are not usually disadvantaged folks. Just like I wasn't. I'm not claiming to have been. But I want to play. I don't care anything about chess. I don't love chess even. It's a way to prove important points. I got into it during COVID. It's healthy, in my opinion. Good way to relieve stress. It's not worth it to coach. And especially when America and American chess are going to import foreign talent, just like I experienced in corporate America, to take away opportunities from athletes, young athletes like Hans Niemann. It's a little better in chess because at least you can't debate the athletes we're bringing in are the best in the world versus just cheap foreign labor. But still, they're taking away American opportunities, and why would I coach? Fuck that. And I would have a lot of falling outs with other coaches, and especially certain influential people at chess clubs. You want things done a certain way. If it's the best way, I don't care, but it's unlikely that we'll get along. Because you've got Ashton had in the last one we looked at, that is my latest YouTube video. Ashton had a chance to essentially smothered the opponent. I think he played as white, so it would have been on the A, B, C, D. A1 is dark, light, dark, light. Queen goes on her own square. Probably on the queen side. And I wasn't sure because it wasn't super simple. But I ended up giving Ashton all his options. And Ashton's not ready yet to worry about pawn structures too much. So instead of telling him the proper move, or even hinting at it too much, I let Ashton make the wrong move. And if I remember right, in part it was because he was calculating that much better and letting him make the lesser move built his confidence. He was correct. A lot of times it's not a matter of the perfect move. There's your options. Choose one in a reasonable amount of time. And we'll understand space advantages and disadvantages at a later time once you stop wondering your pieces. Now, most chess coaches couldn't bite their tongue, especially really good players. So instead of Ashton making the right move, he understands the wrong move, that every move has pros and cons. And he's still probably obsessed with chess. And that's probably my passion. Me getting really good at chess, and there's levels, but really good for an adult, let's say, mostly proves I'm a psychopath in a good way. And I'm willing to spend too much time alone, which can be a strength and a recipe for disaster. But getting a slew of adults to 1,800 on chess.com, and I think I could do 2,000 without much trouble now that I've done it. I made the mistakes. That proves my points about the adult brain. Give people chances, etc. Okay. I don't believe I have any challenges. I do have 2 viewers. Are we challenging, guys? If not, I'm out. I'm going to kill one of these games with Max. I'm not going to play 3. I don't want to play the same person twice. Carl is more interesting. I don't care anything about my day challenges. No. The other one. Only one game. Let's have some fun. What does a vision quest even mean? This guy's interesting. And here, like I was saying about my cousin Ashton's game against Jimmy, but it's a matter of preference. Trying new things, getting comfortable, and that's why I'm on Lichess. Here entices you to try to break up my pawns immediately. Okay. I have no challenges on chess.com. I'm out. Thanks for joining. enjoy my evening.